That's the last of our snowman that used to be like 4 foot high. Melting. Kids and their music. It's beautiful. We're starting to get tanks on the tractor. Not yet. No, it needs to go this way.
Oh, and I'll go. Can you go that way? More?
And I think they're gonna work. So I didn't do this year, or not on this one. My brother Tom and John got ambitious and they put these on. And I'm glad we did, because we just wanted to make sure everything was gonna fit, because these are obviously newer tractors than the ones we had last year. And if they didn't fit on these tractors, we would have been in a world of hurt, because things are kind of in short supply. I don't think we could actually go find a set of new tanks to replace these with. We're fairly confident that they would work, but you never know, they could always throw a curveball at you. I know a lot of people always ask how these tanks work. Well, if you can see back in there, these are kind of distributed a little bit more. They use the back axle. There's a huge bearing in there, kind of like on a grain cart would be. And that spins. The back axle carries it, and also up in here. But when you're hauling a high volume, like these are two 600-gallon tanks, having that distributed more equally really makes it solid, and they work really well. Downside is, if you ever have a tire go flat or anything, you'll have to drain them out and fix your tire, actually take the tank off. We still got quite a bit left. We got to put all the hoses on and everything. This was just kind of more or less just to make sure these tanks would fit on these tractors. They had to do a couple modifications up here. There's different kind of settings on these bolt holes to kind of get them adjusted right, and I think Tom had to come along here and move these up and down just so they kind of set a little bit more level. Yeah, so far, thumbs up on that. But I was here over the weekend checking out a few more things, and I know I said in my last video that, you know, I thought I had bought everything I might need. Well, it turns out we had to go and get something else. So right here on your closing wheels, there's a spring up in here. Well, that spring hooks to something, and it's this piece right here. I unbolted it. It comes off here. Well, as you can see, we're kind of getting wore out there. If that's, I don't know if it'll focus on it, but you can tell we're probably getting to the end of the line on that one. And we're just gonna go ahead and replace those. But I had to order them, and they're at John Deere right now. So I'll have to go get those. And then another thing I was kind of noticing is when I was moving these, they got a little bit more play than what they like. Well, this one's definitely gonna have it. But there's bushings that go inside here, and I don't know what I did with them. But there's bushings that go in here that kind of make this a wear point. Instead of wearing out your arms, it's gonna wear on that bushing. That bushing's a little bit softer. And that bolt goes in through there. Well, we might replace the front bushings on these as well. Not much, but just something else we gotta do. Because you want those kind of running tight. A lot of you guys might say, well, there's different kits and things you can do. We just kind of stick with the factory stuff for them. They seem to work well so far for us. Just using the bushings. Another thing we're gonna have to replace is these are the bushings that are not, I'm not actually sure what you would call these, but these are a little bit more wore than I thought they were. I'm almost embarrassed to show you guys these. You can see those get wore out a little bit. These go right here on your arms. These are another wear point, so you don't wear out the expensive pieces, you just wear out these cheap points. And you want that pretty solid. It doesn't have to be super tight. I know there's other kits in here that put bearings in here and things. The only thing I worry about with bearing kits is if the bearing goes out, then you're kind of screwed, where these will just slowly, like, they're not gonna fail, they're just gonna slowly keep getting worse. So there's always give and take on things like that. A bearing would run pretty true though. So, I don't know. Just kind of sticking with what works for us. Like I said, a lot of these things are subjective. Everybody's gonna have a different opinion on how to attack it. I don't know, leaving them in the comments below what you do. Probably better clean it. Anybody else got an accountant with a commercial grade staple gun? Holy cow. Mine's not near as strong, but ever since that Office movie, I always had to buy a swing line stapler. I got the red one at home. The stapler. I don't go through many staples, but I might have to replace the box. So the guys that seen the last video about rent contracts, those numbers that I was using were just kind of examples and estimates. They were kind of in the ballpark, but I'm not going to use real, you know, exact examples, just so you guys kind of realize that, I guess. But somebody must be getting ready to feed down there. Nothing like a wintertime corn hauler looking truck. Somebody with ambition should really wash that off. That doesn't work. Really don't get why people got to do all these special effects and think that it's cool for farm channels. It's ridiculous. So one thing I'm going to do is probably go after some of those parts here in a little bit, and I can get back here and start kind of taking all that stuff apart and getting it put back on. Ready to go? We got to go to John Deere. Do you really need all those rocks? What you got there? Who's that guy over there? It's kind of a wild man. Oh, it's kipped. You want to show everybody your face? Fell down on the sidewalk at church the other day. Poor dude, huh?
Woo! Rode the rock all the way up there.
Awesome. What about those tractors? Do you like those tractors?
Black.
Attaboy.
John Deere has some red in here.
Yeah, some people got smart, didn't they?
What?
They traded in their red machine. Those are pretty. Yeah, so we got the John Deere stuff, right, buddy?
Mm-hmm.
Where are we going to now?
Really wanted that truck.
You really wanted that truck at John Deere. Let's go. We'll get ice cream instead, okay? Oh. Good. All right, we're going to make some big decisions here. How is it, buddy? Awesome. So as you can see here, this is what we got. That'll look a lot better on my planter, won't it, buddy?
Canvas.
Yeah, all the chicks are gonna dig my planter now. What are those?
What?
Can you say bushings?
Bushings.
Well, we'll pick this up tomorrow. All right, let's see what we can tear up today, guys. So coming over here, these are the things we're replacing, if I haven't already mentioned this. And they just simply bolt on. This is the old one we're taking off. As you can see, that's no bueno right there. Don't want those breaking out. Plus we got new springs that we'll use for these tail pieces, but right now I will just put this one on just to kind of show you what it's gonna look like, hopefully when I get it done. Plus it helps me make sure I got all the pieces before I get started. So you can see part of this is kind of the main bracket for our fertilizer system. It's so simple, it's crazy, and we like it. Sometimes simpler is better. So, first off, look at the other one. Make sure I'm going underneath of it. That's what we're gonna be doing. Now the official torque spec for these is, I think, 3 Ugga Duggas. But we'll go 4 for good measure. I'm not a mechanic, so I don't know how many Ugga Duggas it takes. So how many would you say that was? So this is the mystery box where we got all our parts in. Big question is, hopefully what I'm looking for is at the top. I have no idea what you're for. I hope here's some of the things I need. Yep. When I really get ambitious, I'll actually bring that box inside here, maybe. So it's kind of a rule. You should be able to rebuild your planter in the field with just the pliers. It's just a rule. I know it looks like the spring's perfectly fine, but springs lose their spring. Kind of disappointed this is black. rookie. Why'd you guys tell me that? Every year's relearning. Now, one thing we're gonna have to do when we're done with this is you still gotta square these up because you want that trench or these packer wheels, and I'll show you here in a second, to line up perfectly over that trench because you want it to be right in the center so it's pinching right over the center, and I'll show you here in a minute. What we'll do is we'll either do it here in the shop or out in the field again, and you just come along here and you can loosen these up. These are they're slotted so you can kind of twist them either way just to get them zeroed in exactly. Now I can put on the... Now the things with these guys is you got to make sure the gap at the bottom is set at spacing wheels at 1.25 inches is an approximate measurement. Be sure to have an equal number of washers on each side to get as close to the measurement as possible. Gap between wheels may need to be adjusted according to planting condition. In high contour planting on the side hills, install the furrow cruisers in front of... Well, we are in the front holes. So we want them 1.5 inches apart because we are in high contour planting. That's us, yep, yep, yep. Batman. So these bolts on this, so you are always torquing them pushing down or something like that. They're directional, so this is a left-handed threaded bolt here. And it just, sometimes it's tough for me to get my head wrapped around. So I'm going with the standard setting, like the original wheels would have came to start first with one of these bushings and one washer. And I think I'm gonna have to add another one. But I'm starting original and then I'll work my way out to see if I can get to that 1.5 inches. So that's what we're gonna try to be at. New spring, new support bracket here for everything, new bushings along here, or whatever you call those. The idea between these, we've ran more aggressive spike wheels in the past without luck, and I ran these last year. These are a little more modest, but still kind of crumble that sidewall. What'll happen is if you're kind of in any wet or moist conditions, what can happen is that sidewall, that'll have a constant and it'll tend to squeeze and sometimes create a sidewall, what we call sidewall compaction. I'll probably show you this coming up this spring, but these will kind of crumble it a little bit more. And then also hiding behind that box over there, we got another one we're going to try this year, which is the Furrow Force from Precision Planting. And that one's a lot more high tech. So we're hoping for big things for that one. We'll see. We just got the one. Got the tear down figured out. So then I just come back here and do what I did over here, and then hopefully everything works. A little breezy, but man, 55 degrees. It's supposed to get up to 60. Can't beat it. I'm guessing people in Hawaii are probably saying, hold my beer. Probably. And we're back. So I'll just kind of repeat the setup. I'm gonna go get those support brackets over there. Put those on first. I might do it in a sequence. Sometimes I try to keep it as simple as possible, like doing one thing at a time, like an assembly line. That way there's less for me to screw up if I try to keep it simple. Sometimes when you do the whole row at a time, for me, I tend to screw up more. Do what works. Cue time lapse. I think I'll call it for this video, guys. So thanks for stopping by, and if you have questions, just ask them in the comments below, and we will catch you on the next one. Later.